Hello, fellow YouTubers. This is Rudor21 with another episode of the Clemente Chronicles. So today is September 15th, 2022, which Major League Baseball celebrates Roberto Clemente Day. And not only that, it is Major League, this is the 50th anniversary of Roberto Clemente's death. For 50 years, Roberto Clemente's legacy has been largely defined by the final act of his life, when the plane he chartered to deliver supplies to earthquake victims in Nicaragua crashed off the coast of his native Puerto Rico shortly after takeoff on New Year's Eve 1972. Clemente's reputation as a selfless humanitarian became a legend. I would like to think that his legacy is more than his final act of his life there, the death. Um, a lot of people may not know he was a Marine. Yes, he was a reservist for the Marines for quite a while. Also, and as a professional baseball player, Clemente is considered one of the Puerto Rico's most important players, and became the first Latin America ball player to enter the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And they did waive the 5-year commitment on that. And Clemente has left a long lasting legacy that remains socially relevant and the subject of academic studies and recognitions 50 years after his death. So to this day, people with history, they talk about Dr. Martin Luther King. And in some schools, they also talk about Roberto Clemente and what he did outside of baseball. So he had the respect of his fellow ball players and teammates there. Duke Snyder wrote in one of his books that Carl Ferrella was one of the best right fielders in his life until he saw Roberto Clemente. And he always thought of the idea. Imagine if the Dodgers would have kept him. Imagine an outfielder with Carl Ferrella, Duke Snyder, and Roberto Clemente. Love this picture here of Clemente on the Wrigley Field ivy, ready about to catch that ball. Even Sparky Anderson, while walking away or retiring, he saw more of Clemente than he wanted to. He could hit for power. When he had to, when he wanted to slap it to right, he shot the ball like a bullet. Yeah, you could talk to Bob Gibson about that. Bob Gibson Roberto Clemente shattered Bob Gibson's leg in a line drive back to the mound on a play. Yep. Lou Brudeau. I think he said that Clemente was one of the worst looking hitters, great hitters I've ever seen. Everything's a line drive. There is a one phase of baseball in which he doesn't excel, and you have to admit, his batting stance was unorthodox, but he got the job done. People stated that he was not much of a power hitter, which I beg to differ. He hit for power when he needed to, and playing in the ballpark that he played in, Ford Field. That's I can't see too many players hitting the ball on a consistent basis in that ballpark. No. Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver states that when he was in pitching, there was only a handful of players that he would stay around to watch hit. That would be Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, and Cat Aaron. His Clemente milk duds there. Show the back real quick. Lou Brock. He considered when his playing days, there was only a handful of players that were 5'2" players. And that's fielding, power, throwing, speed, throwing. He said Willie Mays had it all, and so did Clemente. And those three players were the greatest of the 60s. No doubt about it. Here's the 66 batting leader card tops, 65 batting leaders, even though it's a 66 tops card. And even the man himself, Willie Mays, has always stated that Clemente was the greatest ball player besides himself that he's ever seen. And here's Clemente here doing a basket catch that him and Willie Mays were famous for. And that's for a 1960 Topps tag on sticker. Yeah. So there's a couple of little things here. Um, I mean, Roberto Clemente's influence on Puerto Rican baseball players was very similar to that of Jackie Robinson for African American ball players. While he was not the first Puerto Rican to play in the Major League Baseball, he was arguably the most notable to play in his time. As with Robinson, Clemente faced discrimination and disrespect while playing in Major League Baseball. He would get into arguments with his teammates if they would go to those establishments that barred African American ball players and Latino ball players. You know. And in some cases, he probably might have had it worse because he didn't speak English. He had to self-taught himself English and everything like that. Here's his 1965 top super. Well, those are just my thoughts of Roberto Clemente on Roberto Clemente Day. So I would like for everybody to take a moment to think about his legacy out there. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This is Mark signing off. Take care and be safe. And have a wonderful Roberto Clemente Day. Arriba!